Good evening. Welcome back to the Beehive. We're going to take a look today at the Classic Dungeon Design Guide. Whoa. And I'm Honeymaker, your host. Um, so I really like this book. I don't think there's, I don't know if there's any more other reviews on YouTube or anything of it. I can't remember. It's from Drive Through RPG. I can't remember what reviews are up there about it. I can't remember what grabbed my attention about it, but it's a good book. If you don't want to watch the whole video, go buy it. Okay, it's good if you want to do a dungeon. Um, uh, it's a glued binding, I guess is what this is called or whatever. So it does lay flat. It kind of. Yeah, decent. That's a cool picture. Obviously, it's like kind of weighted, but it will set flat. Plus, I don't know how expensive it was, um, so there you go. See if it sets flat, right? This is the back. Kind of talks about uh, how to create your own mega dungeon for your favorite fantasy role playing game. Um, I feel like it's not you can use it for small dungeons too. It doesn't have to be a mega dungeon. There's a lot of good information in here, and it's a really good read. When I ordered it, I before I ordered it, I think I looked at the preview PDF and I liked the way it was worded and the way it spoke to me and the way it read. That's I think one of the things that sold me on it. Because it's mostly a lot of tables is what it is. Um, So, anyways, Kent David Kelly, right? Let's go ahead and get this thing open. Um, uh, this page is like kind of reminds me of like newspaper, but the other pages are nice and smooth. All the other pages are nice and smooth. So, um, best platinum seller, uh, Castle Old School, the classic dungeon design guide, supplement CDDG1. Um, After I read this, or I've read most of this, I bought the other two books. I bought other products of his because I just like the way this. I just like the way this worked. Kent David Kelly, Tan Han, Tan Ho Sim as the cover art, which I do like. I do like the cover art. It's pretty cool. Um, you got your table of contents, the introduction, preparing the adventure, setting the scene, um, creating the delve, dungeon levels, um, dungeon rooms, the campaign. That's some of the stuff the book goes into. Uh, so I think it has right here too, like all the steps. Anyways, cool art. Like if you like the traditional style art, it's really cool. This is an introduction. If you have ever wanted to know how to quickly and masterfully create your own mega dungeon for your pen and paper fantasy role playing game campaigns, this is the perfect book for you. But like I said, it doesn't have to be a mega dungeon, man. I mean, it's just like you could use this book just for the 5 room dungeon, right? Roll on some tables real quick, boom, you're done. Um, right? It's pretty simple. It's got dedication to the legendary people. Um, Preparing the adventure, how to use this book, uh, adventure scenarios, which I like. I like this because you could just pick one. You don't have to roll. You could roll if you wanted to. But it gives you, it tells you right here what level, like, and I like how it just says intermediate, right? Because I mean, some players are better than other, but anyways, it's intermediate players, dependent on earlier circumstances, right? So you want to use this later on in the adventure, basically. Uh, but you can just pick one, right? You don't have to roll on the table. And it's got quite a few of them. It's got scenario twists, which I don't recommend for beginner players. Just stick to the trope stuff. Twists are just going to confuse the players. They'll be like, "What?" More cool art. The unusual benefactors, which is really cool. A cunning and eccentric illusionist, followed by a legion of shadows. Right. Um, Chaotically random benefactors, which is really cool too. You got nouns 1 and 2 to go with that. How to set up a base of operations, right? Because you're going to be doing this is a dungeon delve, right? So they're going to need a base of operations. Rumors, which is really good. You're going to need rumors about the town to give them some role playing, to give them some. Like what's good about rumors is you can slip some lore in there, like a little bit, like here and there. You know, you just slip a little lore in there with it. But it's got the tables uh, for rumors, which is cool. The way to the dungeon, which I want to talk about this a little bit. I've been looking at a lot of older stuff, and the was it the Tomb of the Lizard King. That I watched the review by Captain Courageous, which I watched his whole history on D&D thing, like the difference between Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and all that history, which I recommend you definitely watch his videos. But anyways, he reviewed Tomb of the Lizard King, and I wanted to watch that because I played that as a kid, and what makes that adventure interesting is they like travel a little bit, not very much, but just enough to get like before they get to the dungeon, they travel just enough. Which, and I think that dungeon's like pretty damn small too. They, you know, you get a little bit of the lay of the land, which that's what this talks about, the way to the dungeon. And I feel like when I saw that review the other day, I feel like that's kind of why I probably set up a lot of my adventures like that. You know, you gotta kind of get there. I don't make it like super, you know, crazy, but yeah, I almost always, you know, have a couple encounters on the way there, or at least one, right? And then it's got wilderness encounters here. If you want to set up a wilderness encounter, just roll on these tables. It'll help you out. So yeah, um, really good book. This goes into like who built the dungeon, the generations. Um, which if you're going to do a mega dungeon, it's probably kind of important. It is important. If you have like a 5 room dungeon, not so important. You know, pick 2 things off the tables or roll, you know, 2 things. Roll for 2 things. That's all you need, right? Um, and then this is goes into the surroundings about the dungeon, around the dungeon, which is important because it kind of sets up like the theme. I feel like it can set up the theme of the dungeon and the area and the boss guy and stuff who's there. In my home world, I have a shadow dragon that has taken over a dwarven kingdom in the north, right? And when they went there, I didn't play up the dungeon so much, but the surrounding area where they had gotten shipwrecked and where the dwarven kingdom was, that was just all corrupted now with like this ivy that was all black and necrotic and evil, and like the water was tainted, and you know, you just play it up, just play up the power of the bad guy, and that's kind of what it goes into for a setting, basically. It's a setting, basically, like hanging gardens, forest, right, endless stair, um, you know, the location, and then this is evocative locales, different names, right? The gibbering abyss. It's a lot of stuff too. Like it's cool. It's got a lot of tables. Like I'm not that into tables, but because I usually just come up with stuff on my own. But I have had block before in the past, and so this will be really good just to come up with stuff um, real quickly. You know, like just you know. Um, yeah, so pretty cool. And it's got personages, right? Like female. So these would be like all female type themed settings, basically, right? And like you could change these names or whatever you want to do for your setting or your world or whatever it is. And these are male ones. Uh, so yeah, I definitely recommend the book. I mean, uh, it goes into realistic, like real life stuff here, which I think is kind of important because I kind of overplay the realistic thing, and he kind of talks about that and like not to do that so much, and to remember that it's a game, and to remember that it's fun. And most of the stuff is pretty like concise. I mean, I like the layout of the book. You know, it's decent. Um, water in the dungeon, light in the dungeon, right? Denizens of the dungeon. See here, you go semi-realistic, right? Air. Right? He goes in and talks about all this stuff, from realistic tombs and catacombs, and you know, like realistic castles, drawing the dungeon, just all kinds of just everything you could want to know about doing dungeons, basically. Chaotic descriptors, doors, uh, dungeon design, which I thought was interesting. I've read some of that. I haven't read the whole thing. I've read most of it, though. It was a good read, pretty fast read. It's a lot of tables, which you don't need to really look through all the tables, right? You can just read the stuff and then kind of roll on the tables when you need to, pick stuff off the tables if you need to. Um, I feel like it's a helpful tool. I mean, for me, anyways. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description. It's a really good book. Check out his other stuff. I think this is the only thing he has in print. Um, I was thinking about printing out part two myself, but it's part two is even bigger than this. So part two was going to be like $45, $50 or something, plus shipping, I think, to print it out. Um, so I decided not to do it. Because I did buy Barrow Maze. I want to look at Barrow Maze. I'm thinking about running Barrow Maze. I haven't decided yet. I have the PDF. I bought the 5th edition version. It's on the way. I'm thinking about running it for my advanced campaign, but this isn't a Barrow Maze video. But I feel like this book will help. This book will help just everything, especially if you want to run an older style system. So that's it. Little 14, 15-minute review here. Go pick it up. The Classic Dungeon Design Guide. Kent David Kelly. It's a bestseller. Uh, yeah, and I mean it's got really cool art. It's just a really cool book, and I highly recommend it. Just to come up with ideas and stuff. You know, 5 room dungeon, real quick. Here, this is what's in there. This is the guy that hires you to go do it. That's what you're playing for the night. Boom, boom, boom. You're done. Back to town. You could even do like sewers under the town, right? I know that's not everybody's gig, but I like doing sewers under the town, doing a little town city. I just got Kaywood's what is it? Monsters of the City. which I'll review that too, which I really liked. But anyways, that's my little 15-minute review. I'm the Honeymaker. This is the Beehive. I'm out of here. You guys have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. Bye.